Third phase.
Who's ready to go down the rabbit hole? Welcome back, everybody from around the world. It's Blake Cousins, and we got a special report for you today. Just earlier this morning, we were watching closely the ISS as the Space Dragon was departing on its way back to Earth, bringing some crew members down to Panama in Florida, hopefully. But right now, we just recently heard a transmission between them, and it was amazing to hear. Plus, we got UFOs from around the world, from Japan to other parts of America, including a strange encounter with Bigfoot. That's right, we got a Bigfoot story in this one too. This is going to be an incredible episode. So let's just get to it right now and listen to Mission Control as the Space Dragon departs the ISS moments before. Listen up.
6:56 GMT, followed by the crew getting picked up at sea by one of SpaceX's recovery vessels.
Now, the crew have been up there for quite a while. The mission began on November 15th of last year.
Just a heads up, we saw something small, silver, float towards the airlock, bottom of the airlock behind you, from Suichi's suit. Towards the deck.
Very awkward moment here. You could see the hosts from NASA and SpaceX kind of in awe. They're not knowing what to do.
So what we heard was those beeps are Quindar tones, and that is the core or the crew operations resource engineer communicating to the astronauts.
Again, a second awkward moment. Listen.
So that was the Capcom, the capsule communicator in Houston, still communicating with the astronauts aboard the International Space Station, as well as we get Crew 1 suited up and back into Crew Dragon.
And we'll try to pause to make sure that everyone can hear those communications, but...
Houston, copy, Joe Last. Which direction was it flagged? Oh, I found it. Thank you.
Glad to be of help.
There for quite a while. The mission began on November 15th of last year.
Just a heads up, we saw something small, silver, float towards the airlock, bottom of the airlock behind you, from Suichi's suit. Towards the deck.
So we just heard it again for a second time. They stated, just a heads up, we saw something coming, and it was small, silver. It floated towards the airlock. This is strange because over the past week, right here at Third Phase Moon, we were breaking the news in regards to weird objects approaching the ISS, the Soyuz approaching the ISS within the past week. What's going on with these close encounters? The world news is picking up on the Third Phase of Moon information coming in, but right now we just broke down some more breaking news in regards to this third encounter with a small silver object that floated towards the airlock, and they were giving the crew of the SpaceX a heads up that something was approaching. Is this something that's going to be more and more down the road with these close encounters? Brent, before we get to the next UFO video, what's your thoughts on this? Yeah, it's been a crazy week right here at Third Phase of Moon with these recent encounters with the Dragon X and the International Space Station. We're keeping a close eye right now on the Dragon and the American crew coming back to Earth this morning, later tonight, wherever you are in this world. But what's going on with these recent objects that are approaching our spacecraft up in space? What are these? Are they extraterrestrials? Are they Space Force technology just kind of doing these kind of maneuvers around the International Space Station? Or are they something different, something that we've never seen before? Because it's ramping up right here. Over the past week, we've had 3 or 4 encounters that we're able to share with you right here at Third Phase. The UFOs are on the rise around the ISS, and let me tell you, they're on the rise around the world as well. But let's get to this next video. This has been shared on a few UFO channels, and we wanted to go over it and take a closer look. And guys, I want to get your thoughts. Let's just roll the video, and then we'll come in just a bit.
我在图上。大力打，那打印就把人背影就好了。我需要蹲低吗？这头加低。很感兴趣，因为这个时候就要靠感觉。好气气啊！喜欢没有感觉的感觉。气气好就拍得好啊。没有，人好就拍得好。那完了就不顺。
Otosiyer'den konuşan Golf Tango. Üzerine doğru geliyorum.
So we're looking at this a little closer, and I think there's going to be a lot of YouTube channels that have cut this part out where it clearly shows that there was an air show of hot air balloons. And what I'm thinking what we're looking at here is just some hot air balloon that is in a Pokemon shape, a Pokemon ball. I'm not exactly sure. It's interesting to look at, but again, there's these YouTube channels that are cutting this portion out. They're just showing you this Pokemon balloon, not the entire air festival of these airships. So I think there's a lot of misleading information going out there. So we just wanted to clear this up, that in my opinion, that this is just some kind of a lighter than air filled up with, you know, helium or something within this festival of hot air balloons. So if there's channels out there that cut this part out, you let them know that, hey, you guys could do a better job, or at least admit it, or put the entire video. What's wrong with you guys? Let's not get too crazy out there. Let's keep our feet on the ground and an open mind. Now let's get to this. I received this photograph just earlier, and somebody says, hey, you should share this on Third Phase Moon. It involves Bigfoot, and Bigfoot's interesting. We don't usually cover it, but once I saw this photograph, I thought it was very interesting. So we asked Michael from Dark Hour Paranormal to give us his insight in regards to this photograph and the story behind it. Michael, take it away.
Alright, so this photo is very intriguing to me. The photographer did not initially notice Bigfoot when snapping the shot, which is not uncommon. We hear this quite a bit, especially in the way of paranormal investigation, where somebody shoots a room and later on in the exposure they find that there was something else there with them, and yet they couldn't see it with the naked eye. But the question remains, why was the picture taken? So in this circumstance, we see a gorgeous scenery in the background, beautiful waterfall. It stands to reason that somebody might see the beauty in this and actually take the time to take a picture. So right there we have a reason for the picture to exist, rather than saying there might have been some sort of setup and it seems awkward that the photograph was taken at a certain point in time. Now, also to say that the subject itself, Bigfoot perhaps, is in focus along with the rest of the scenery. Most of the photos that we see with Bigfoot at the center, Bigfoot tends to be a little bit more blurry than some of the surrounding objects or the scenery there. So that's not the case here. This is really interesting to perhaps believe that what we're seeing is actually in its environment. The lighting appears accurate along with the overall color. It could have been manipulated, but if it is, this is really well done. It is mentioned in the video that someone lost a small white dog earlier that day, and this particular photo illustrates perhaps Bigfoot carrying what looks like a white dog, wherein we see the hindquarters, and that's what's pointing towards the camera. This isn't uncommon as well. Bigfoot has been accused of preying on household pets if left outside, more than likely to consume. It's my belief that Bigfoot does have a predatory side to it, and if it is flesh and blood, it should have some sort of instinct to hunt and be indiscriminate. It's interesting to look at the facial features here too, which you can almost make out an expression, but it has the characteristics of some familiar hominoid or possibly a baboon, albeit much larger. There seems to be a red plume on top of its head, some very thick wisped hairs on the brow. Maybe those are the eyebrows, but either way, even with the elongated snout, at least in the way that it looks in the photograph, it really reminds me of an oversized baboon. I'm guessing that the subject is on an incline, as it looks deep within the brush. The trees in front and around are very young, and more than likely stand around 5 or 6 feet. But again, the subject is deep enough in the photo that we can't really make a reference to the surrounding environment in the way of its height. It has been said that Bigfoot, if aware of being photographed, in most cases, an unclear image will develop in the film. The interesting thing is that when people have surprised this animal or being, and it was not aware of being watched or photographed, the pictures are much more clear. Does this mean that Bigfoot has some sort of switch it may turn on in the way of switching frequency so that it literally can't be photographed? Very interesting to think about. This is some fantastic evidence in the way of photography and Bigfoot, and actually reminds me a lot of what I've seen in the way of New Zealand evidence.
You know, the Bigfoot phenomenon is pretty interesting. And, you know, if we get some good evidence, good video, good photographs, hey, look, we'll cover it right here at Third Phase of Moon. We're looking at the whole aspect. And some people say that, who knows, Bigfoot could be extraterrestrial in nature. I think these photographs are interesting, so I hope you enjoyed this. Now, let's get to this. This was an incredible submission via my Gmail. I received it earlier today of what looks to be a Tic Tac. I'm going to share you the video. Unfortunately, there was some radio going on, so I had to take down the music. And we didn't want any copyright claims, if you know what I mean. But watch this. The video was captured by Benjamin Glover, and he allowed us permission to share this with you. Is this the Tic Tac? Well, when we listened to the video, unfortunately we couldn't play it. Like I said, it had some music, but there are parts where you just don't hear anything. If this were an airplane, I think you would hear it. And it's interesting. It lasts for a while. I could understand when some people might claim that this is an airplane, but if you watch a video long enough, you're going to see some indicators of the wings or the tail behind it show itself. We're not seeing this in this video. We're not seeing any kind of wings or tail. This is definitely in a tic-tac shape. It's moving at a rapid pace, as we can see in the video. I'm trying to get a close-up. I like the perception with the trees, the moon, everything. It's broad daylight. It's kind of cool. And again, Benjamin wanted us to give him some answers. He's got some questions. Brent, what's your thoughts? Is this a military, the Tic Tac? Go ahead.
Definitely something's up there. And is this a drone? Some sort of, like you say, maybe military, new kind of assets that are up there in the sky that we're just being introduced to kind of on a daily to a weekly basis. I think there's kind of this soft disclosure of information that we're seeing in the skies, and we're getting this aspect. What is it? I'm not seeing any wings. I don't see a tail. It definitely is high up there, 30,000, maybe 40,000 feet, maybe even higher. That's why we're not getting really good detail on this. But again, do you see any wings or a tail on this?
Yeah, right, Brian. I'm not seeing any tail or wings. This is, in my opinion, something different. I'm not exactly sure. Could it be what the Navy pilots are experiencing? And again, this is moving at a high rate, and I'm glad that he captured this. Thanks, Ben, for sharing this. And if any of you guys captured anything, you know where to send it. The Gmail's right there. Now, we've got this world premiere. We dropped their album, Third Phase Moon Behind the Veil, and we said we're going to drop another music video. You guys are in luck. It's the world premiere for We Are Not Alone. Drop it.
Looking around, thinking it's only you. Only to find we're many more than a few. Where do they lie? How come we seldom see them? Right in between the lines is where they reside. No reason to fear, we know who's here. The narrative falls, trickled through the years. System, no more lies rolling through the haze. History worth mention. Ancient connections may see us through. Although not easy to say, we're not alone as you may believe.
hope you guys enjoyed this special episode right here at Third Phase of Moon. And if you enjoyed the music, hey, look, we got the album out. It's called Third Phase of Moon, Behind the Veil. It's streaming on all audio platforms, Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. It's all there. And again, we're going to keep bringing you the UFO videos on a daily basis. We got so much coming in. Buckle up for that, everybody. And make sure you hit that subscription button and the notification bell to be notified when Third Phase of Moon goes live with these premieres. I appreciate everybody in the chat tonight. You guys are rocking it tonight. And that super chat, wow, you guys are very generous. We appreciate you guys and the members who've joined Third Phase of Moon. All you beautiful members out there that have joined us, wow, we appreciate you guys too. We've got a lot of exclusive content for you guys. So let me tell you, a lot of things are happening. We're working on the sequel to Countdown to Disclosure and much, much more. This is Blake Cousins, along with my brother Brent. You guys be safe out there and keep your eyes on the skies. We'll see you next time.
A solid system, no more lies, wrong.